Hello, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. As you know, my name is Stacy, and on this channel we talk about pretty much everything under the sun. Today I am going to talk about something that is really personal to me, okay? Something that I don't readily talk about. I am going to talk about trauma, specifically childhood trauma and abuse. So here's your trigger warning. Some of this may make you uncomfortable, and if you have dealt with childhood abuse, sexual, physical, mental, emotional, however, you may not wanna watch this any further. So, let me explain to you something. So, from the ages of 6 till 16, I was sexually, physically, and mentally abused by someone who would eventually become my stepbrother. Now, in this process of pain and anger, and the only way that I could describe this was pure torture, and because I'm not talking about he just touched me or he pushed me, I am talking this person who was 4.5 years older than me and had 100 pounds on me would routinely drag me downstairs, smash my head on concrete floors in the basement. He would shove various objects in various orifices of me. He would tell me that if I told, he would kill my mother in front of me and make me watch. So in all reality, when I say torture, I'm not saying that lightly. I had fractured thumbs, twisted ankles. My left shoulder was dislocated multiple times. There was one time he left me tied up for 2 days while my mom and his father left the state and left him in charge for no apparent reason. For 2 days I was tied to a bed and abused. And this went on for 10 years of my life, since I was 6 years old till I was 16. I don't have a lot of memory of this time because of the dissociation that I have. I dissociate when I'm faced with traumatic events a lot of the time. So my memories that I have of the time kind of are like, I'm looking through a fog, but I'm floating and I'm looking at everything from above. So my memories don't even feel like my memories, because it's not like it's happening to me, even though it happened to me. And I know that seems like a weird way to have memories, but I'm telling you, it wasn't in my body. When they say disassociation, it's more like I was astral projecting myself to a better place at the time, trying to save me from the torture. And I mean literal torture. And not joking when I say torture. There are things that I would never even tell a trusted therapist, let alone a YouTube audience. So, I went through 10 years of torture, and then after that, I picked guys that literally beat my ass too. Like, I went through multiple miscarriages. I had multiple guys literally just beat my ass for nothing. Because I thought that's what I had deserved. And my mindset was so broken from such a young age. And now correcting it at the age of 41, almost 42, is damn near impossible. But it's not impossible. I said damn near impossible, but it's not impossible. Because I'm doing it. Healing is a process. Healing is a lifelong process. And when you've gone through the abuse and trauma and pain and torture that I have been through, it hurts sometimes when you dig at those shadows, at those parts of you that you don't show people. So, here's what's happened. So, from 6 to 16, I was abused. Once I hit 16 and 17, I started picking guys that weren't good for me. They were toxic. Let's just say that. All my relationships were toxic, including the relationship with my son's father, who, by the way, before he passed away, 2 years before he passed away, we got evicted from our apartment of 13 years. He told me that he felt that it would be better for me and my sons to live on the street because he didn't know if he loved me anymore. Then he told me he was working things out with me to go and take my sons to another female's house that I didn't know, and come to find out he lied to her too. So, sorry about that, honey. You know, I wasn't in a good place. And then for those 2 years, I was already kind of working on myself because everything had fallen apart. And a year after that, I ended up in my grandmother's basement with our 2 kids, just me and our sons in a basement. And about 6 months after we were living there, on October 18th, my 2015, my son's father, Vic, passed away. Right after, 2 weeks before this, he called me, he apologized, he begged for me to take him back, and he begged for me to forgive him, and he swore that he would spend the rest of his life making it up to me and our sons. And I told him that he has nothing to make up for me. And he doesn't need my forgiveness. That the forgiveness he needed was from our boys. And 2 weeks later, he was gone. And for years, I thought that my words killed him. I thought that me telling him the truth killed him. And I was wrong. I think it was the heartbreak that killed him. And anyway, so this is the tragedy part of my life. Now, I cry because that woman, after my son's father died, I spent 2 years unable to really get out of bed. And when I could get out of bed, I got a job, and then I had that job for over a year. Then I dislocated my right shoulder, And now I have a permanent partial disability in my neck due to being in a sling for 3 months. Well, over 3 months, actually. And I have subsequently since then been rehabilitating this lovely arm and shoulder and my neck since 2017. So here's the hard part. So I had found out that I had all these medical issues. I have PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. I'm bipolar, and I have fibromyalgia. I have osteoarthritis, and now they found 3 bulging discs in my neck, and my spine, upon the MRI that they did of my spine, is crumbling. And at the time, I believe I was 37 going on 38. And that's not normal for someone that age. So I was told by the neurologist and the spinal neck doctor that, and my GI specialist, that I needed to lose at least 100 pounds. And the last time I had stepped on the scale was probably around the time that I had gotten evicted, and I was about 326 pounds. Which, as you can see, I am not 326 pounds anymore. I have actually lost over 230 pounds on my journey, because I include the weight gain from medications that I had to take and all that stuff as also weight that I've lost, because I didn't choose to gain that weight. I didn't put food in my mouth to gain the weight. Actually, I drank water and gained weight. So then total I've lost 230 pounds, but what really made me lose the weight was I found an amazing product called Herbalife, and my entire life started to change as soon as I found my coach and Herbalife. Everything went from living in a basement to now I've got my own apartment. Now I can get out of bed. I am exercising every single day. I am almost at my goal weight, and I feel healthier and happier than I have probably in my entire life. And the sad thing is I've recently lost my grandmother this past October. She was, I believe, 97, 98. She was going to be 98, I think. And she was a big part of my life for a long time. And I spent 5 years living in her basement. Now, granted, the situation was toxic as all hell, and my grandmother wasn't the nicest woman in the world, but I had a roof over mine and my kids' heads, and we had food every day. So it wasn't all bad. It wasn't rainbows and sunshine and puppy dogs and kittens, but it wasn't all horribly bad. Granted, it was a mice-infested basement, and we had no walls. We had no privacy in that basement whatsoever for 5 years, no privacy. And after I had dislocated my shoulder, and after I had lost my job because they let me go for getting an injury on the job. And I had to sue them, and I won the lawsuit, which wasn't very much. It was barely anything. Anyway, I'm still dealing with having to fix this shoulder and heal. And now I am not only just healing my body, but I am healing my mind from childhood traumas and abuses. Now let me explain something to you. When I found Herbalife, my entire life changed. And I can honestly say that Herbalife saved my life. I was on a downward spiral. I was eating myself to death. I was not moving. I was depressed, alone, lonely, and overall just not even there. They had me on so many medications. I was like a walking zombie for a while there. They had me on lithium. Never again. I would much rather smoke pot than take their psychotropic medications and mood stabilizers. Big Pharma is another conversation for another time. So after I find Herbalife, I am still in a basement now trying to better myself. I'm trying to better my life from a basement infested with rats. And I started to climb up again. And in 2018, I started doing Herbalife. I entered a challenge and I won my first challenge by losing 50 inches off of my body in 21 days. Then I became a distributor, and from there, everything has changed. I've got my own apartment. I have a new car. I am an independent distributor and a coach. I do YouTube videos, and really, my life is pretty fucking amazing now. And it's only getting better. It's only getting better. And the reason why it's getting better is because when I found Herbalife, I also found the law of attraction and the law of vibration. Basically, like attracts like, and sometimes it's the opposite. You can attract the people that are desperately in need of what you have to offer and what you are. And with all my trauma, I am also an empath and a very compassionate person. So I attract broken people that need compassion. So I have had many people recently walk in and out of my life because they don't understand what unconditional love is. So that's also another topic for another day. Now I've pretty much climbed out of the basement, and I am learning how to love myself, honor myself, and heal from my past. Because my past will not determine my future. My present actions from here on will determine where I go in my future. And that being said, I hope this helps you in some way. Maybe it helps you know that there is someone out there that has been through some of the same things that you have. Maybe some worse, some better. I don't judge. I never would. It's not for me to judge. So maybe it helps you to know that there is someone out there that's been through some shitty shit and they're persevering. They're climbing up. they're doing better. They're learning to love themselves. And if I can learn how to love me, I am 100% certain that you can learn how to love you. That being said, I hope you have a great day, night, afternoon, wherever you are.